Well, good afternoon, everybody. Ramblin' Randy here. Thought I'd just show myself here a second and let everyone see what's going on here. Isn't Mitt Romney, isn't he an embarrassment to society? Isn't this prick an embarrassment to society? I say he is. Uh, I think that the whole crew needs to be flushed out. Hi, everybody. Ramblin' Randy here. Aren't I pretty? Still got them dimples. Oh, they all say, I might not be as good as I once was, but I'm good as once as I ever was. And so that's kind of, I just want to say hi to you. And go do a little afternoon thing. When we get rolling, we'll be doing these things all day long. Back on Mitt Romney, though, little did people know that Mitt Romney made most of his money in derivatives. He's part of the crew that has pushed our derivative debt to the stratosphere, where this it would take the entire planet's gross domestic product several thousand years to pay this thing off. We hadn't got it, so the whole thing was designed to collapse. And Mitt Romney was either he or Clinton. Didn't make any difference. It'd been a wash, but he was going to fight real hard, and Clinton most likely was slated to take the reins. That's pretty. I mean, hell, that goes without saying. We can say that without any degree of discomfort. So now you got me back on there, so you can see me here. But let's go ahead and go through what I do on these deals right here. Once you get to where you're looking beyond their headlights of what they're trying to create, you look at these topics right here, like that poll right up here in the upper left corner, 45% support impeachment. I didn't take the damn poll. Did you? 17, and so they word these things to get emotion, to get your attention, and then once they get your attention, then if you focus, they got that's even one step further. It's like direct mail. I used to do direct mail. Once you have someone take the envelope in their hand, and if the outside of the envelope entices them enough, next step that they do that's a success watershed mark is they rip it open. Once they rip it open, then you have another shot of your magic that you have placed on print called spelling. That your spell or your content will then convince them to move forward. And bottom line is you set the hook and you reel in the fish. That's exactly what's going on. It's been going on politically, really being used, weaponized since Edward Bernays back in the day when he got women smoking cigarettes walking down Broadway in New York. It was a big deal. And then from there, they changed it from propaganda, really is what it is, to, or PSYOP, really it's a PSYOP. It's turned into a complete PSYOP here. Complete military PSYOP is what we've got going on now. That's a psychological scam, if you will, or game or overlay. It's magic. It really is. It's what I call magic. Magic is nothing more than having a set end in mind and then creating a scenario which is a parallel timeline that it would be that you would insert into your timeline or a timeline that at the opportune moment. And so you create an entire, hell, it could be a scenario that will take 6 months to unwind. In our case, here's the U.S. It's been a scenario since way before Woodrow Wilson. First Bank of America was the magic was started then. They was routed out, came back in, and then Andrew Jackson, thank God, and Greyhound, he did. He wormed them out, and that's Trump always has Andrew Jackson's picture hanging on the wall, and I'm very hopeful that he is the anointed one that's going to take down the Federal Reserve centralized banking system stranglehold on the world. I don't care what problem's going on. They're all shiny objects to get us to focus our attention on what they've got going on there. So we will not look up to see or beyond. Stand up and just look around the perimeter. Anytime they got something going on like this Ukraine deal, stand up, look around the perimeter, because those some bitches are doing something out there on the horizon that's more important, and that their agenda that they're building right now that we're going to drive into. And it's what I call creating beyond the headlights. It's magic, and people study this magic bullshit. All that it is, magic back in even into the biblical days. I'm firmly convinced that they're all hopped up on something. I'm not kidding you, and I'm not saying that sarcastically or what do they call it back at Highland Park Baptist Church right here in this town where I've come back to launch this project. It's blasphemy, blasphemy, my white ass. It's just magic, and magic is not what you think of Merlin, the magic magician, and all that. Houdini. We're talking real magic here, where attention goes, energy flows, and that's the seed of manifestation. If you want to see something happen in the tangible world, you got to first think about it. And once you think about it, you get your scenario, your spell, your conjure in your mind, then you got to focus your attention on it and start taking some action to cause that insert to be ready when you want to drop it into the timeline. That's magic. That's all magic is. Prayer is magic. Uh, and you have to have faith in your spell, in your conjure, in your prayer. And if you don't, it's moot. There's only one thing that can dwarf a prayer or a conjure or a spell or magic that you fully believe in. It ain't a matter of what I think it'll happen. If you're in that mindset, you're not doing magic. If you're in the mindset of it's already done, if you're at that level of comfort that you've already pulled this thing off, and it is so burnt in your mind that it isn't any question to you. These things that I do, there's no question of this, the Silent Supporter Society, the Rabbit Hole Herald, the Seekers of Sanity, and the rest of them. There's no question in my mind whatsoever that it is already successful. It's just a matter of whether I'm going to keep my attention focused on it, find others that will learn, my God, if we just do this. If it's greed, if it's money you're looking for, I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm the man that can get you there. If you want $1 million, I can get you there. You got to work, though. Nothing's for free. Nothing's for free. The reason you could acquire that kind of value or money with this system that I'm talking about first and foremost is that you have to have a passion. You have to fuel that passion with continuous energy, and that's focusing your attention. That's what passion mixed with focused intent is going to turn something into action. And when something turns into action, third world, pick up a hammer, go nail that together, you're creating magic, and you're manifesting it here in the third dimension. But it all started with the original exciter thought. Have great thoughts and you'll have a great life. Go create a wonder-filled day. It is by choice. These are all things that I want to suggest and share with people that I do in my life. I wondered for a long time, how in the hell do I find myself at the top tier of everything that I do if I'm fired up about it, if I'm really excited about it? It's because I focus my intent. My intent and my desire and my drive and my want to is greater than the odds that I'm facing. And I've faced some tremendous odds. Tremendous. I'm facing one right now. I've worked 1.5 years flying all over Hell's Half Acre, meeting a lot of key influencers. That's radio talk show hosts and people who have an audience, podcasters. There's over 150,000 podcasters out there that need support. I saw this going in, that they need support. What do? When you're sitting here and you have a mammoth idea, or you have a burning desire inside to see this country back to back to some sanity. We're finding out that the world that we live in back in the day of Leave It to Beaver, and if you hadn't seen that video that I've got up in my little page there, go back and see it. I should rename it to The World of Leave It to Beaver. From an era of Leave It to Beaver. We didn't realize it. Hell, I was only about 8 or 9 or 10 when I watched Leave It to Beaver back in the day, but the hook had already been sunk very deeply into the psyche of the American citizens because it was the Great Generation. We had gone over and won these wars. Our mercenaries had gone over and won these wars, and they turned these kids into mercenaries like they did me. We go over there with all the wrong reasons. We go over there to protect those that are there. We thought that's why we were there. And to uphold the great American theme, which is helping out. Once you dig deep and you find out that we wasn't there helping out, we were there supporting the fact that these people have obligated themselves and they owe us or owe the globalists. And then these globalists, they come in here and they mix and mingle with our society. We're all part of the globalist deal. We're all part of the centralized banking deal, whether you like it or not. And I'm going to tell you something right now. And you may not believe it, but I can lay it out to you in hard, cold facts that only you would be the one could deny it. Once a person who has been honestly mistaken all of their life, that's after I share this truth with you, and you have it internalized in your life. Once a person who has been honestly mistaken all of their life learns the truth, they either cease to be mistaken or they cease to be honest. And then you'll be at a point, a crossroads. And then I'll tell you, what say you? You know, people don't want to face the facts. They'll turn their back on it. They won't want to face it. You know, it's called moral disengagement. You know, they know we're going overseas to do something and, you know, secure some oil or whatever the case may be, make them straighten up over there because it's going to help us. It's going to help your lazy ass here in America. It is. It's going to help you keep this fluff job, this fluff way of life that you've got, that if actually is a farce, it's a joke. They've given you enough of this artificial green fiat money. You think you got it. It's not even real, people. It's not even real. It's not even backed by gold anymore. It's not backed by anything except what they say, the good faith of the American people. We're tired of it. We're tired of having our name mixed up with your agenda, topside, globalists like Mitt Romney. See, they've had this game so long, they didn't think they'd ever see a day where some hand come along like Trump. A hand is what we call workers in the oil field. So some hand come along here and all of a sudden you look up and he's standing there and he's got, what the hell is he standing underneath Andrew Jackson's picture? The first time I saw that, just like the globalists and the bankers, first time they saw it, said, oh, good God, what's that picture doing up there? The reason that picture's up there, I pray with all my heart, send all the positive energy to the universe that this is why Trump has it up there. Andrew Jackson ran the bankers out. Ran the bankers out with a stick, hickory stick. That's why he got the nickname Hickory Stick. They told him that the Second Bank of New York was, Second Bank of America was coming in, need a charter. Need a charter renewed. Hell, we renewed it a couple years ago. I thought Trump was not going to let that happen. He did. Because timing wasn't right. Too big a fight to take on the Federal Reserve when you had this damn swamp you got to drain. If we don't do this, corruption is so deep in our society. It runs so deep. It runs into your city hall, for God's sake. There's some rat in the wood pile's been getting greased or money on the side, duked on the side. That kind of thing is going to happen. That's human nature. You know, knowing this from the oil business, that's kind of a way of life down here. But when it gets into the people that are governing our entire country, and yes, it does need to stop locally, and yes, we need to change our mindset. The entire mindset in society needs to change from what it is now, get what you can, to operating everything that you do your entire life based on a fair exchange of value. That's what I'm attempting to do. Attempting to start a culture that when we gain value from any source, be it a picture, be it an article that we read, be it a video that we see on YouTube, even if it's demonetized, like Sean's been demonetized on the SGT report, powerful researcher, very patriotic individual, just like Dave on X22, just like John B. Wells, you know, up in Dallas with Caravan to Midnight, just like Clyde Lewis. By God, Clyde Lewis will tell you how it is. He'll tell you exactly what's on his mind. He will not pull the strings. My objective is to get you people exposed to some of this stuff, and I'll pay you to do it. Pay you to do it. Pay you to do it. You provide good content on a website that we're going to be having here real soon called the Rabbit Hole Herald. You can come over there, just a regular citizen, and you can see something like this Mitt Romney piece of garbage that's on the picture on the screen right there. Or you can pick any one of these topics that you see on your ISPs. And ISP to me stands for Intelligence or Information Service Provider, not an Internet Service Provider, but an intelligence or information service provider. My ISPs, I've already told you. Jimmy, Clyde, John B., Sean, XGT report with Dave. Sean is on the SGT report, Sean. And Dave is over on the X22. Obviously, Jimmy Church is the Jimmy Church Show. Jimmy has some good shows floating in. He's into UFOs and various things. And believe it, people, believe it or not, we need to address this. Whether you think people have they're completely lost their mind, think again. You need to be exposed to some content, some data that may broaden your horizons. We got something floating above the horizon, it appears. My personal feeling, I'll share with you at the appropriate time. I think that it's high technology just that we have created. Might sound crazy here. I'm still going to fix a step out there, but it could be something from a time period that we have not as of yet experienced. I believe that everything that ever was, ever will be, is all happening right now. N-O-W, no other world. I believe that. I believe that with all my heart. I don't believe in time. I believe time is created by the Creator so that we can experience this thing called life. Otherwise, we're spiritual beings just having a human experience. That's pretty much it. I heard that in AA. And by the way, a 12-step program right now. I started one, was going to start one called ISIS Recovery Center. That's Intelligent Sleeping Idiot Syndrome Recovering Center. Hi. I suffer from being an intelligent sleeping idiot. Hi, Randy. Hi, welcome to ISIS, the Intelligent Sleeping Idiot Syndrome Recovery Center. Makes sense. Let me tell you something about crazy. Crazy's gotten to the point to where if you've got enough people crazy and you've got a little movement and it starts taking some roots and taking off, you keep pushing it, your crazy will become normal after a while. If you get enough people believing that the water was parted, the Red Seas were parted, I'm not saying the word wasn't, I'm just saying people believe it. Where attention goes, energy flows, that's the seed of manifestation. Or if you think there was a burning bush, or if you think that, and I'm not saying there was or wasn't, I'm not being sacrilegious. I'm just throwing some things out there. It's a little hard to reach. What else we got here? Oh, we got that full of them, full of these things up there in the big book, full of stuff, full of stuff. What if we started right now and we started a big movement 1,000 years from now, and we're using right now a phrase called, you look like I'm looking out the window right now, beautiful day here. It's fixed to start raining though, and oh, that's another one. What if we started saying that it's raining like cats and dogs? By 1,000 years now, they go, if they're believers, they're believing it literally. Back in 2019, it used to rain cats and dogs. Wake up, people, and smell the roses. I think the people were hopped up. They had a visual experience, a prophetic visual experience. They came back and they shared it with others, and by God, they saw that. The rest of them went out and told the rest of the world that by God, they saw that thing. Yeah, they saw it. Fiery chariot, all the whole 9 yards. But let's don't get off into that. Let's just stay on point here. What I'm trying to do is collect you people's minds, harvest your minds, so that we can meet a what's called critical mass, a critical number of people in a finite, defined number of targets, human beings here on the planet. When you reach that finite number, you can flip this whole thing. You can flip it. It's called the 100 monkey theory. It's beyond proven. It's fact. So I seek critical mass with coherent, critical thinking, logical people. That once we get to critical mass, or 100,000 people, or 1,000,000 people, and we pose a thing for people to concentrate on, focus their attention on, or pray, whatever word you want to use that blows your dress up, that's what we needed to get everyone to do, to think coherently about a particular target, be it a subject, be it an individual, be it a movement, be it whatever. Crime, it doesn't make a difference. We all focus on that with intent. Proper intent, meaning that we believe it so much that it's already done. Watch that mountain move. Someone once said, greater things can you do than I've done. I heard that. In order for that to be done, be a true statement, which everyone feels strongly that individual gave true statements, his name was Jesus, is that if that's a true statement, he's done some pretty wild stuff, according to the book. And if I can do bigger stuff than he did, that would mean that I would have to be a co-creator with the source. It's a pretty powerful little business card to have. But let's leave at this right here. We're going to have these lessons as they go along, and I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed that. I want you to know that I have. We're going to do a lot more of these. We're going to go together. We're going to cross the Jordan, going over into the Promised Land, and I'll assure you it'll be fun. You'll stack up a lot of cash. I call it value. We'll learn that by conducting our lives and all of our affairs based on a fair exchange of value and reciprocating when you gain value from someone who's put forth their work and effort to create it so that you can view it or take advantage of it. To reciprocate when you gain value with a small token of your appreciation. Hell, if someone moves you, if you see someone like Rex Bear, by the way, that's Rex Bear is one of my main intelligence service providers, and he's extremely has Leak Project. You need to go over and follow. We'll be doing a lot of following and studying a lot of Rex's content. When we do study these people, then we will be, obviously they gave us value, whether we've got 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people, 5,000,000 people, whatever, that study that content, and just use a penny, not a nickel, not a dime, not a quarter. 1,000,000 people, if they threw them a quarter, threw any of our people a quarter, or threw someone in our chat room that had a profound comment that they just dropped by and made a comment, enough people saw it, say 1,000,000 people saw it, dropped them a quarter, do the math. Do the math. I feel very, very much inside, deep inside, an honor to do this in my life at this time in my life. We're not asking for it. We've already spent all the money necessary to build out this project, and we're now waiting on our programmer's wife is in critical, or she's in very bad shape, and it's caused him to us to be delayed on our launch. We were coming out Labor Day, and then it moved to the 19th of last month, and now we're as soon as we can. But he means that he's precious to me because we've been working on this together for about 12 years or close to it. He is the programmer. He is my code writer, and it's meant to be. So he stays. His name is Ryan Churchill, and so. We press on together. We all press on together. This is just a little lesson here. And I'll say this, and I mean this because I've designed these things before. Ryan has written these programs for me before on these exponential growth deals. If you go out and you tell someone, you've heard the story, you go out and you tell someone about this, be it Lotion Potion or Miracles of the Ocean, those MLM deals, the principle behind that is the strongest marketing concept ever known to mankind. It's called word of mouth. You can't beat it. I mean, there's no way you can beat it. It's personal referral. I've tasted Ruth Chris steak, and go get you some. It's good. That's an honest, firsthand, word of mouth advertising. That's powerful. But I want to tell you something right now, that's the only way that we're going to win is fight fire with fire. The way that our current monetary system is designed is that it is a 1 by 10 forced matrix. That is a multi-level term, forced matrix with unlimited breakaways. And the unlimited breakaways is when they created the corporations and gave them the same rights as a human being. So every corporation that has been created since they started that has the strength and power and the ability to control our society is the next one. It's unbelievable. They really can. That's what brings on fascism. When something gets as big as Facebook or Twitter or all that stuff, YouTube, Google, they become a power to be reckoned with inside of the system. They become a parasite feeding on all other parasites, including us. And so that was by design. And so when we're upset with our government. We're actually upset with ourselves and don't know it because we have willfully and by choice opted into participating and paying your dues, if you will, your monthly dues, just like a network marketing, every single time you buy something. You're buying your lotion, potion, or miracle from the ocean. That's their product. And every time you buy something, it increases the cash. It goes into our money supply. They multiply it so that they can feed more. So if you keep throwing oranges into a barrel and you only had one, and a whole bunch of people wanted oranges, that one orange is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to have a lot of value. But every time someone buys something out there and they turn right around and throw that purchase value into the money supply, don't retire it, then that causes our currency to be worthless. Worthless. Right now, it's worthless. It has no real true value, other than the value of what you could get for taking green paper with green ink on it, burning it. If there's any resale value for ashes, that's about it. That's about it. The only way we're getting stuff done is going over to help people and tell them if they don't need our help. But we have the power. We have these thing called guns, big old barrels and stuff. We'll come over here and help you with these. You're about ready to do this the right way. Get in line. And you see, that's what's happening over in Ukraine right now. Is that the Ukraine is a very valuable point. It's been a real focal point for years. Uh, it's actually was part of Russia. It'd be like Russia coming over here and taking Texas away from the United States. That dog wouldn't hunt. And Russia's been wanting their nation state back. I mean, that's this, and the globalists came in and took it as a stronghold. And so what happens is that when they do this, they come in and they put their own puppets in there, their own figureheads, so that they can say that the company is what it is. They can say that the country is operating in a diplomatic, I mean, in a democratic method, and but in reality, they're taking orders because the leaders all got greased, they got paid off, and they are now compromised because if they don't do it the correct way, they're gonna find themselves on TV being a pedophile and people coming in, kids getting dying all over the place. And hell, that's not really happening. Ask Assad in Syria. He was a pediatrician and having dinner at the White House one day. Next day, he's a pedophile and he's killing his people with sarin gas. For God's sake, and in my humble opinion, that's CIA op, and I believe everyone's figured that out by now. I believe so. So we got a cluster going on here. The first thing we got to do is we got to fix our heads. We got to fix our thinking. And if you'll just come and you'll listen and to me ramble about these things, it's going to all start coming together, and you're going to see, by God, we can do this. By God, we can do it. Not only can we do this, it's already done. It's just a matter of time of traveling through linear time for us to get to the point of that where we're very successful. I want to ask you a question. You go out and you see what's going on in the world today, here in our country, and you see there's people out there, that I show on these videos, you see on TV, YouTube, they're out there busting their backside trying to get information to people. They're spending their hard-earned money and they're getting pittance back, if anything, selling ball caps, hats, mugs, T-shirts, and various things like that. Some of them have been able to maintain their being monetized on YouTube. YouTube's just screwing the hell out of them. YouTube's making millions and millions of dollars, and they're throwing out little pennies at these content creators. We're gonna fix that. You can just look at something like SGT or X22 or some of Clyde Lewis's shows. They get massive. Well, I'm not sure if it's recording or not. I can't tell. It appears that it's going, so it's going. But they get massive amount of feedback. These people, and they're not getting a fair exchange for a value. They're not. And so, but my question to you is, if you listen to these people every single day or whenever you can, and you know that they're working the amount of time that people put into these videos and articles is it's just crazy. And it's because they have a passion. They love this country. With all the work that they do, and you sit there and you watch an hour, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and you get value from the work that they did, do you think it's worth a damn penny? Do you think that their efforts are worth a damn penny, a nickel, a dime? If it's real good, a quarter? Don't you think that their efforts are worth that much? Since you're not doing it, since you're not telling your neighbors about it, don't you think that it's the right thing to do to tell your neighbors to watch or your friends to watch your ISPs and tell them about a show that you really, really liked a lot and it moved you and you found value to it? Don't you think that they should have the same value, the same opportunity to be able to see and learn what you've learned on all this stuff that we're going to be teaching you? Of course. If you want to save this country and you want them to be safe, you want them to have this data too, so tell them about it. Tell them to become a member. Go to the Rabbit Hole Herald, register. At that point, you're a member of all of them. You're a member of the Rabbit Hole Herald. You're a member of the Silent Supporter Society, where you can post your comments and make some extra money if you have value. And you're a member of the Seekers of Sanity, SOS. It's probably the one we're going to use for our hats, SOS, and it's going to have Seekers of Sanity underneath that, all based on a fair exchange of value. Well, on the videos down here, be sure and click the little, down here, the little red button that says subscribe, and then when you subscribe, there's going to be a little bell come up to the right of it. Click on the bell so that it will notify you when I make one of these videos. You're in a very optimum position because, as I was mentioning, there's 150,000 podcasters out there that are trying to get their truth out to the world, and they're starving slap to death. If you can help me reach those people, that has value that you'll receive for finding those people, and you'll receive that value every single month that your ISP is an active silent supporter, and you'll receive support from all of those that influencer brought to the table to become part of our mind of our mental mercenaries, army of eyes and ears. That's what we've got. We've got the United States of America's People's Army of Eyes and Ears. We got the U.S. Army of Eyes and Ears. That's what we are. And I've been there on behalf of Uncle Sam in a land far away, laying in a rice paddy face down. I've been there. This is more important than any work that I ever did there or any military person's ever done. It's equally as important. You are joining the U.S. People's Army of Eyes and Ears. If you ever want to be the big hero, come up here. Bring your camera. Something breaks loose. You take pictures. You see something happening. You come and you write an article in the Rabbit Hole Herald. If you know something about a topic that we are struggling with or we're seeking to have validatable content given to us, we can render a critical thinking decision. Get that content that you know up on the rabbit hole. We see it. Boom, boom. Again, 100,000 people, 10,000 people, 1,000,000 people. Do the math. If you got just the bottom penny, I'll follow. If you only got 1,000 people, 1,000 pennies, what's that, $100? $10 or $100, one of the two. Better than a stick in the eye. Better than giving you at YouTube, or at Facebook. You make a comment over there, you don't get anything except maybe a little star or something. Little notification from somebody. They're doing this stuff by design. They know how your brain works. Myself personally, I'd like to get a little exchangeable medium for my comments. I'd like to convert my comments from our pennies, P-E-N-E-Es. You come into the way this works, you'll come into the Rabbit Hole Herald, all of our conglomerate, silent supporters, and you will convert your worthless paper fiat money into our internal little exchanging units called pennies, P-E-N-E-Es. 100 pennies is one pen. So $1.50 would be one pen, 50 pennies. That's the way it works. A million equivalent in our world. $1 million will be equivalent to 1 million pence. It's like going to the county fair. You get tickets, or going to Chuck E. Cheese or any of these places. They give you these little tickets, tokens, air miles, and they're redeemable. Isn't that something? But the difference between this and the system, the 1 by 10 force matrix that we live in, called the centralized banking system, fractional reserve banking, I'll show you. I'm going to teach you all that. Once a person who has been honestly mistaken all their life learns the truth, they either cease to be mistaken or they cease to be honest. And you're going to come to a crossroads. You're going to have to say, you're going to make a choice. You're going to keep running down the road not telling anybody that we're living in a farce, a lie. You're going to slither under a rock and hide. Or are you going to stand up, be a patriot, stand up for your country and for mankind, really, and go out and proclaim the real truth? We've been living under a farce, people. It's been a joke. Everything's been a joke. It got really bad when Nixon come off with the Brentwood and we went totally fiat. That's when he stuck a fork in us. We're done. Now we're living the recourse of all that. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go now. And I'll have these little things as the Spirit moves me. Today's Friday, October the 4th. I'll probably have one late tonight. Subscribe. Tell all your friends. It's free. Tell all your friends to join this. When we get this set, join this YouTube right here. I want to see that number of subscribers go up. And you people that are listening to this, that have been with me a long time, tell some people, tell them, come over here and sign up. I want to see that number go up. I've got my life in this. I'm committed to my life. Everything I've done, I've shortchanged all of my kids, my family. It's been shattered because and they're hanging with me, don't get me wrong. But I have put everything in this. I love this country. Be looking, subscribe, and tell your friends. Jedi 1, we down.